Alright, when we are multiplying two different binomials together, so we've got binomial A here, which consists of A and B, and we have the second binomial, which is C plus D. So A, B, C, D, no like terms there, can't reduce anything. If I want to multiply them, the only way that I can multiply them would be to FOIL. And when we FOIL, I've got the words for FOIL written down. I know first, F is first, O is outers, I is inners, and L is for last. So if we look at this, our firsts would be A and C. A is the first one here, C is the first one here. Our outers for FOIL, O, our outers would be A and D. Our inners would be B and C. And then our last terms that we would multiply together would be B and D. So we've just got to understand FOIL first, outside, inside, last. Now, if we apply that, we'll see it done here. So I've got an example here. I've got x plus 9 times x plus 1. X plus 9 cannot be simplified down anymore since x and 9 are not like pairs. And then same thing for x plus 1. Can't simplify down anymore, so if I want to use this, I can multiply them together. In order to multiply them together, I've got to think FOIL. My firsts would be x and x. X times x gives me x squared. Now, so we did FOIL. O would be the outsides. Outsides are x and 1. 1 times x would give me 1x. So we did the O. The I would be the inners. So if I did the inners, it would be 9 and x. 9 times x gives me 9x. And my last one would be the lasts, which would be 9 and 1, since they're last in those two equations. So my last gives me 9 times 1 is a positive 9. Now all I got to do is simplify. So I've got x squared, and I have a positive 1x, which I can just write as x, and I have a positive 9x, and I have a positive 9. Now, the only things I can combine would be x and 9x, since they are the only like terms. Those would combine to be 10x. So I would have x squared plus 10x plus 9. And that's how I can simplify. So that's what it would look like after my foiling. X squared plus 10x plus 9. So I've got two more examples that we'll work through together. So I've got, let's scoot this up so we got a little bit more room. I got 8x minus 5 times 4x minus 7. So my first is what I'm going to do first. So my first term is 8x, my first term is 4x. 8x times 4x gives me 8 times 4 is 32. X times x is x squared. My outers would be, again, 8x. Let me erase this. Would be 8x and negative 7. So I would have 8 times negative 7 is negative 56. And then I also have my x in there as well. My inners now would be negative 5 and 4x. Negative 5 times 4 is negative 20. And I've got my x down there. And then I've got my lasts. My last would be negative 5 and negative 7, which gives me a positive 35. So if I write this one out, I'll have 32x squared minus 56x minus 20x plus 35. Again, you'll see my only like terms will be a negative 56 and a negative 20. If I combine those, that gives me a negative 76. It's not liking that line there. Negative 76x. My 35 stays at the end. My 32x squared stays at the beginning. So So I'd have 32x squared minus 76x plus 35. So it's a pretty simple process. The second one that I have here, let's see if we can pull this down. We'll work on it down here. So I've got 3x minus 7 and 5x plus 6. Again, my first term, 3x and 5x. Multiply those together. 3 times 5 is 15. X times x is x squared. My outside terms gives me 3x and 6. 3 times 6 is 18. And then I have an x in there as well. My inside terms, if I erase those, is going to be negative 7 and 5x. So I'll multiply negative 7 times 5, get negative 35x. And my last terms would be negative 7, positive 6. That gives me a negative 42. So if I combine these, 15x squared, positive 18x, negative 35x, and a negative 42. All I got to do now is combine my like terms, which are going to be 18x and negative 35. So I'll have 15x squared. Positive 18, negative 35 gives me a negative 17x. And then I've still got my negative 42. So when I'm doing this, all I've got to remember is FOIL. First, outside, inside, last. Anytime that I'm combining them, I am multiplying.